advantage there for a minute. And I was like in Africa building a school, taking a whole different route. But it was so nice to come home and know that you guys totally are the reason that we're back. And so we're going to totally give that back to you and have another like slam in the air. So thank you. I also love that I feel like our fans are really like honest. And we were talking about this earlier, like, you know, just because you've been loyal fans doesn't necessarily that you're going to mean that you're going to follow us like anywhere if it's not good. And I felt like last year, you know, people were like, the show found its groove halfway through the year. And I feel like we always want to be honest back and go, yeah, that's true. And it's just, I appreciate like just that honesty and that you come with us, but then that you don't just like give us lip service, that you're involved and we hear from you and you tell us what you want, and you respond, and you're like the best fans anyone could ever have. So
I don't like you nearly that well. I like you, like, but she has a crush on me.
I would suggest I could flirt with you all. Like that.
Are you a good provider? Question.
Eliza, if you could have been on Firefly, what kind of character would you like?
Ask him.
A missionary.
Like that.
Joss, you have a habit of killing my favorite characters.
Tell me, who do you like?
My favorite character in Dollhouse?
Who is your favorite character?
Maybe I should keep that one a secret. Why do you kill them off?
I think, you know, I mean, seriously, as a storyteller, I hate people. I want them to suffer and die. And I like to think that that's reflected in my work. I kill people for two reasons. One, because it hurts very much and furthers the story, or two, because contractually I had to. But hopefully I made that one hurt as well. Because, you know, I do have as much integrity as a storyteller as I can, but there's also the realities of television. When somebody, you know, is going to disappear, sometimes you've got to think up something that will make people cry when they do. Don't kill Eliza?
Yeah, don't kill me.
Dude, I couldn't take her. She goes for the
Don't
eyes.
try.
She uses hamster technique.
First of all, I want to congratulate you guys on season 2 of Dollhouse. You guys are awesome and okay, so in the awesome episode Spy in the House of Love, we found that Dominic was working for elsewhere, got himself into trouble, into the attic. However, I was thinking, I don't think he had the technical know-how to corrupt those imprints. Is there a second mole that we should be worrying about?
You should be worried all the time. Especially in the Dollhouse. No one can be trusted. There's one person who can be trusted, but I'm going to kill them. They're far too trusting.
You as writers and producers are willing to take on ethical dilemmas, and I congratulate you for that. I was wondering, since it seems to be problematic sometimes for the original volunteers' imprints for the dolls' bodies to survive, sometimes they die off, and are you willing to address the ethical dilemma of using people in permanent vegetative states to imprint them with the original volunteers' personas to allow them to live out
the writers' room is what which is worse, basically. Where are we helping and where is it just appalling? And I'm not going to say if we're going to do that exact thing, but that kind of question is exactly what we're dealing with in season 2. We want to stretch the parameters of what we can do with this tech. Not perhaps quite as far as we did in episode 13, but definitely to a place where stuff like that is going to have to be addressed.
Joss, I have a Firefly question. I was wondering what was up with Anar, because we never learned, and I know you might not be able to answer that, but apparently she was dying, and then like the needle wasn't for suicide, and I wanted to know what was happening, and you can't know.
The only person who ever said that she was dying was Morena, because I told her and then she told a cover. Obviously, Morena later tonight and killing her character. Yes, that was her secret. But that did not have anything to do with what was in the syringe in the first episode, and I'm still not telling that.
Hi, Joss. Real quick before my questions. Oh my God, you killed Penny, you bastards.
But then we brought her back.
Sorry. I'm wondering about both your musicals. I don't know if you can see me. I'm dressed as Sweeney Todd. I absolutely love musicals. And both of your musicals, Dr. Horrible and Once More with Feeling, which was my entrance into the Buffyverse, by the way, have brought, I think, a new audience to musicals and probably vice versa, a musical audience to science fiction. Do you think that's true? Is that something you intended?
It's something I always intend. There's sort of a dual perspective going on. Part of it is, I want everyone to love me. Part of it is, I just want to do what I like. And those are always happening all the time. I think science fiction and musicals, they have a weird sort of cross section. There's a big confluence between them. They're both a step removed from reality. They're both a little bit bigger than life. They're very different, but they do lend themselves to each other in a way that, say, musicals and, I don't know, cop shows don't. I think, anytime you get some piece of fandom to another experience and broaden their horizons, it's the best feeling. It's one of the best things for me about the Buffy comic was that a lot of people who weren't reading comics started because of Buffy. It was a gateway comic.